Good evening, everybody, and good night, good morning, good something. But welcome to another episode of the Unfiltered Conversations. And I say another one like it's been just yesterday since we've seen everybody. Darren and I have not had the opportunity to go live together in a very long time, and I feel like we owe it to y'all. So, granted, it's 10:27 my time. It's like probably 3:30 in the morning your
Yeah,
time.
3:27 here in the UK. But it's good to be back, everybody.
It
Welcome
is
back.
great to be back. So we're really looking forward to having an old school unfiltered conversations today. There's absolutely no structure. Yeah, that's it. But it's good to see everybody again. And this will be up on our podcast on Spotify too. If you are listening tomorrow, thank you. If you're listening now, thank you. And if you listen to it in like an hour, thank you.
Yeah.
Darren, how the hell are you, man?
Well, yeah, I'm good. As you know, in the 3 weeks that we haven't been on, I've been to Torrington, went down to Torrington. That was pretty cool, and it went better than I expected as well. Alan Mitchell was just amazing. The place of Torrington's amazing. Yeah, I'm good.
Good. I really thought you were about to just say aluminium and not Alan Mitchell.
Aluminium.
Yeah,
We
I
can
was
start
like,
that argument
already?
again if you want. But
Don't need to
the
do
fact
that.
of the matter is, it's in the Oxford Dictionary. So, no. Anyway, I know what you're going to ask me. You're going to ask me, Darren, what are you reading at the moment? Well, I'm
Darren,
not
what are you
reading
reading at the
anything.
moment?
Nothing. So I'm actually listening to a
Nothing.
podcast. No, I'm not. I'm actually listening to a Revolution podcast because I've finally listened to you and Tim, and I'm decided. You know what? I need to learn about the Revolution. So I'm listening to a cool little podcast on the way
That's
to work
exciting.
every night, and it's pretty cool. It's called The Key Battles of the Revolution. So go and look it up. It's on Spotify.
It's called
It's
Key
by
Battles
two
of the
great guys.
Revolution.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
really cool. It's a cool little podcast. Each episode's around about 50 minutes long. Doesn't go real in depth, but it's enough. There's enough there to get your juices flowing.
Okay.
As I like to say, with the revolution, and you've got to start somewhere.
That's right, and
And
I
I'm
think it's a
finding
good
it quite
place to start.
interesting, I must admit.
Do you have any favorite characters so far? Why should I say characters?
Not
Like
yet. We haven't really got that far in, but a general called General Gage has been mentioned. I find him quite interesting, British guy, as you know.
Yeah, of course.
So far, I've only listened to 3 episodes. So one of them is about Concord and Lexington, which is more of a skirmish, isn't it? Really,
Yeah.
but they basically happen around about the same time, don't they? But that's the start of the revolution, really, isn't it? Technically, and also in one of the episodes, they go a bit more into detail about why the revolution starts, and it's not just tea. There is
You mean
other
tell me it
reasons,
wasn't just tea?
not just tea. There you go.
There's that noise again. That's what we used to point it when we were on our Fredericksburg tour.
Yeah. Actually, when you was doing live the other day, I kept hearing that noise when you was at that place with Daryl.
Oh yeah.
Every time you switched the camera view,
It was like,
there you go.
that was a cool place though. So my birthday was Monday, and we decided that we were going to go down to Petersburg and spend some time down there. And on the way to Petersburg is it's kind of out the way, kind of not, but it was a little place the Park Service preserved, known as Fort Darling, or very famously known as Drury's. Excuse me, I can't speak tonight. Drury's Bluff, which was that fortification that I went live at and was showing. I mean, it was a very beautifully kept fort. It has got a lot of cool history behind it too. We get to talking about the hot shot furnaces, which are still some of my favorite features of that fort. So I don't know if I was able to go in detail with you or not and tell you a little bit about that.
No, you didn't.
So where this fort's located, it's on the James River. I think it's the last fort along the James, or the first fort along James, guarding Richmond. This fort was attacked by Union gunboats that made it all the way up the James. Now, the ironclads and the gunboats had a nice level of protection to them, so the Confederates improvised some of their devices of firing using a cannonball that was heated in a furnace. I mean, I'm just imagining this glowing orange cannonball being taken out of the furnace, and then it was loaded into the gun and shot into the ship.
But what kind of temperature are they getting this furnace up to get the ball to the point where it's... Because it's quite a chunk of metal, isn't it? It's not going to be easy to heat that up.
No, not at all.
And then how
And
the
I don't
hell
quite
do you
know.
transport it into the cannon itself?
Some big tongs, dude.
Oh
Like
my
you,
god.
you had to have some type of device to carry that thing
But
because
no,
you're
this
not
is the
carrying it with
first
your
time
hand.
I've ever heard of this technique.
Yeah, it was. When I visited, it was my
Wow.
first time hearing about it. And the cool thing is
Jeez.
the way the fort's set up. The remains of this hot shot furnace is still there. You can see the disturbance in the
Wow.
ground and where that furnace would have been at, along with so many other features of the fort, which is really cool. So, in 1862, there was a Union Marine, a sailor, I think it was a Marine. He was actually awarded the Medal of Honor for firing out of the portholes of one of the ironclads when there was a shell that struck and incapacitated a lot of the other passengers, a lot of the other sailors, soldiers. Oh yeah, passenger. Titanic hit me in the head for
Tickets,
a second.
please.
Yeah.
Oh, I really
Oh
want to
man.
go on this gunboat.
Yeah. Is that the Merrimack? Can I buy a
Yeah.
ticket? But yeah, no. So he was awarded a Medal of Honor or earned the Medal of Honor for his acts there, and it's
Wow.
really cool. So maybe one day an episode will come of that. That way
I'm,
we
I'm
can
trying to vision
properly
that
talk
being an
about it.
ironclad because it's obviously not going to, you know, I mean, if it was a wooden ship, it would probably burn like, with it, would it go through? It would go through anyway, but
Yeah,
maybe
with
set
that
it
that hot
alight or
shot, it
something
would have
like that.
had
But
to. Yeah,
Christ,
it was
wow.
cool. And the rest of the day we went down to Petersburg. We did some of the Eastern Front, and then made it all the way out to the Western Front too. So we were able to visit places like Fort
Yeah, yeah, I
Fisher
noticed you
and
didn't
Fort.
do a lot of live content from Petersburg itself, did you?
No, I was too awestruck, man. There was a
You was just
location.
enjoying the moment, and
Oh yeah.
sometimes you need to have that, don't you?
Fort Fisher
Um,
and Fort Welch were some of those moments that I had to really just kind of soak in and take to
yeah, of
myself.
course,
With I
of
took a
course,
picture. I didn't even take pictures of half of these because I was so just enthralled with this
yeah,
site and being able to walk it. And I'm a fortification guy. I really, really like going to see trenches and forts and things like that. So take me to Petersburg, and I'm in absolute heaven because I just look over. And one thing that was really cool, and Tim had mentioned this to me the last time we were down there, but I didn't get to properly look. There are World War I trenches in Petersburg. Yeah.
what are they
Everybody's probably
training
gonna be like,
trenches?
yes, they were. So Fort Lee
Mhm.
is in the
Wow,
vicinity of Petersburg, and they had trained some of the soldiers there in that area to fight in trench warfare. So the leftovers, and you can tell the significant difference of Civil War trench to World War I trench. I mean, pretty stark difference. Not at Petersburg, because
mm,
Petersburg, the trenches were dug so deeply, the fortifications were done so intricately that you'll actually see signs on the National Park driving tour that'll tell you that these are actually World War I training fortifications and not Civil War earthworks. But
and
at
I
first
bet
glance, you
people
just
got
look at it.
confused. Yeah,
I I can imagine. I almost did
mhm,
until someone pointed out that there is a sign that tells me that these are not Civil War fortifications. In fact, these are World War I training trenches. I would have been completely under the assumption that it was all Civil War fortifications. So
yeah. Well, hopefully one day me and you can actually go and tour the real ones in France. You know, I only live literally a 10-minute drive from the Channel Tunnel, and we can jump in the car and we'll be in France in 30 minutes.
explain the Channel Tunnel to me a little bit. I have no idea what that is.
Did you not know about Channel Tunnel? Okay.
No.
So I can't, I'm going to have to pull something up because I know it was finished in the 1990s. Obviously, I've always lived in Kent. So Channel Tunnel, but this was not the first attempt. Apparently, a tunnel under the English Channel was actually attempted by Napoleon. So he actually attempted to dig a tunnel underneath the English Channel to gain access to. I don't know what extent they did, but anyway. So the Channel Tunnel, it basically goes right underneath the English Channel
Hmm.
and comes up in Calais. So it comes from Folkestone here in Kent, where I am, and literally the terminal is up there. And literally a car drives onto the train. You stay in the car, and it's a 30-minute journey through the tunnel. Also, we have a thing called the Eurostar, but that's a passenger train,
Okay.
and that travels, goes faster than 100 miles an hour. I think
Oh
it's
my
about
God.
160 mile an hour train. They had to basically redo like a whole section of track, in the southeast of England. It runs from London, Ashford, and then goes off to. It actually goes all the way to Disneyland Paris, and you can also go to Brussels from it as well. I think, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
So no flights, no limits on. I mean, particularly if you're going in the car, no limits on luggage or anything like that. Obviously, with the rules changing lately. Um, but yeah, I always remember going past and seeing it. They used to have the boring machine that they used to dig the tunnels. They used to have on display on the side of the road.
that's really
Sorry,
cool, actually.
please bear with me a minute, and I'll tell you how long it is and everything.
No, we're bearing with you. This is something that came up. It's actually pretty exciting to talk about. Actually, I didn't
And
even, like I said, I didn't even consider
yeah, I mean the Eurotunnel's obviously a little bit more expensive, or they call it Le Chateau. But
Le Chatel or Le Chateau, Le
yeah, Le
Chateau.
Chateau. It's a bit more expensive, but because it's faster. So the Channel Tunnel is a 50 to 46 kilometre railway tunnel that
No
connects
kidding.
Folkestone to Calais, basically, and it goes under the Strait of Dover.
The White Cliffs of
And
Dover.
I'm trying to find the actual page because it's not here. But yeah, I think it was finished around about the 1992, something like that, around about that time. And again, I remember it, because we used to go past it all the time,
Mhm.
living in the area. Obviously, I haven't lived it. I've only lived in Folkestone since 2015, but obviously, we used to travel down to Folkestone quite a lot.
So you've only lived in Folkestone since 2016?
2015, yeah,
2015, excuse me, I heard you wrong.
yeah. But
That's
obviously, as a
cool.
kid, we would come here. You know, um, they had a fun fair and stuff like that down here, and a market on a Sunday morning, and
You
just
guys
stuff
call it
like
a fun fair?
that. Yeah,
Okay.
or the Rotunda Fun Fair, it was called. So it would be,
Fancy.
like arcades, but also a fun fair. Yeah, you bought a wristband and you rid all day. They used to have the waltzers. Do you remember the waltzers?
No, what is that?
Oh, it's the thing that spins around. Oh, come on, man! You must have
A,
been on a
a
waltzer.
carousel?
No, no. I'll have to send you a
Pull a
picture.
picture up and send it to me so I can put it on
Yeah,
the stream. You guys,
yeah.
we're learning some more British lingo.
Okay. So the Channel Tunnel. Oh yes, sorry. It opened in 1994. 6th of
Really?
May, 1994. Yeah, I even remember when the French and the British met each other in the tunnel. So they were digging one side, we were digging the other with these big boring machines. And I mean, they're huge. I mean, the tunnels are massive. And I remember the news pictures of them shaking hands.
Oh, that's cool. So, sort of, it may be not the most equivalent, but something I can relate that to is like Prominent Point, Utah, or Promontory Point, whatever they want to call it, where they actually laid the golden spike where the Transcontinental Railroad finally links up.
I'm going to send you an image of the directory, the direction of the tunnel, so you can pop it up,
Very cool.
and then I'll send
Duty.
you
I
one
got a
of
message
what
from Darren
a
Rawlings.
waltzer is.
Did you draw that?
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
with
No.
crayons.
Very. Yeah. I love it. All right, folks, we're gonna put this picture up here. I was about to apologize for being so just unfiltered tonight, but then again, like, who am I kidding? This is what
Can't
we
believe
do.
you've never been on a waltzer. It's like an English
No, I've never
tradition.
even heard of a waltzer. I know I just butchered that, but you know what I mean.
It like don't go on it if you're drunk or you feel sick because you will projectile vomit in somebody's face.
Oh, is that thing where you get stuck to the walls and
No, that's not. That's something. That's
yeah,
Tyler. We
that
don't want to talk about that. No, I'm only joking.
no, we don't.
No, I don't know what that one is, but yeah. Anyway, yeah. So that's where it runs from. So this is my hometown, folks, and
Hmm.
that's where it goes to.
Darren, you did such a good job with that crayon, dude.
Thank you.
You're
And that was
welcome.
my child's crayon. Crayon.
You used a red one too. Awesome. Crayon. God, I have a hard time trying to say that now. All right, we got another picture here.
Yeah, we
What's
got the
this one?
waltzers.
The waltzers. If it's a
We don't
merry-go-round,
have
I'm gonna be
these in the
very upset.
US. I can't believe it.
What the fuck is that?
It's like a seat and it spins around,
That person
and
does not
then
look like they're having a good time.
Show me the picture.
Yeah, I'm going to.
I can't remember what I said. You know.
No, they do not. The way the person, I mean, they look like they're enjoying it, but it's not.
Oh, it was so
No.
much fun when you was a kid.
Yeah.
And we used to have a ghost train as well.
Oh, what?
A ghost train. Have you
What
never
did
had a
you?
ghost
No,
train?
like a ghost pop out at you on the train.
No, it's fucking hell, man. Have you? What do you do? What do you have in America?
Look that.
Let them-
Did you
Right. So
send me?
basically, what? Let me explain it. So you see what the thing's on. It's on like a thing that spins 360 degrees. But also, what happens is the floor actually turns at the same time.
Uh huh.
So it's just like a wash. It's like being in a washing machine, basically.
Yeah, count me out of that one. I feel
And it's
like
called
I'd
the
get sick.
waltzer.
It's called the
And when you
waltz.
come to the UK, I'm gonna go out of my way to make sure you go on one.
All right. I'm sure we have something similar in the US, but that's just
So
I
yeah,
don't think I'd be on that.
but you've never heard of a ghost train?
No, no, this is
So
cool.
basically, it's a train that goes around inside, and it's got like it's a ghost train. There's like pictures of scary things and like things
Oh,
jumping out of
okay,
you and all that.
okay.
You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
don't you?
Yeah.
I'm sure they used to have them on Scooby Doo.
There's actually a scoop. There was when
Yeah.
the amusement park near me was known as
Mm.
King's Dominion. They used to have. I'm sure they still do. It's been years since I've been, but they had
Actually,
an attraction called the Scooby Doo coaster or Ghoster coaster. That not the
mhm.
Ghoster coaster. There was a ride thing where you took a. This is so American, by the way. You took a freaking laser gun and you shot at the ghost when they pop out
There
at
you
you.
go. Yeah, similar. Yeah.
It's like teach them early. Let's shoot at everything that you can that scares you. It's not a
Look,
good method.
it's quite cool that we've got onto this subject actually, because there's quite a history when it comes to fairgrounds and stuff.
Oh,
And
we have someone. Oh, Tim, he's in uniform. Darn it.
who's in uniform?
Tim, I was like, you
But
can join audio, I think.
yeah, why not? Come and join us. We miss you.
He
Um,
can't in uniform.
oh, of course not. He can get changed, can't he? But anyway, we have one of the oldest roller coasters in the world in Margate called the Signet Railway. And it's like, I can't remember when it was built. Unfortunately, it got damaged by fire a few years ago and they had to restore it. But it's an old wooden roller coaster. I know you've got some in the US as well, haven't you? I think you've got some like I'm sure there's some in New York, like, where there's, is it Long Island or something? You have like a
Coney Island.
Holy Island. Yeah, they have
Yeah,
similar
never
rides,
been.
But we have like this wooden roller coaster, and the unnerving thing about it is the guy that used the gear stick to or the brake. He never ever wore the seatbelt, and they made us wear a seatbelt. And I used to say to myself, "Why is this guy not wearing a seatbelt, and I've got to wear one?" Do you know?
That's what you complained
I
about?
could never understand it.
Man, I'm telling you.
There you go.
Well, so where I've been at, I've recently pulled a second job now working at a place called The Pub, which you guys have heard a lot about from me and Darren, and they're just incredible people to work for. It's been really fun, but it sometimes, working at a bar, you don't get home at a great time.
No,
Sometimes it's really late. Tonight, sadly, I like when there's business because I love being able to talk to people and serve people and talk, cook and, the whole nine yards that you would do at a pub. Problem is nobody came in today. Like, there was probably at least 2.5 hours where I made maybe 18 wings. That was it. So I was
and
like, darn.
when I
And so
when
I'm
I
home
visit
early tonight,
again,
which is cool because, well, and this is
yeah.
early, by the way.
When I
Yeah.
when I visit again, obviously I will be visiting the pub again, but maybe the first night we're there, we should do live unfiltered conversations from the pub.
I think that would be a phenomenal idea, sir.
Sit at the bar and we could do it there. I mean, we just use our own phones or whatever, tablet, whatever.
Bring the computer with me, the little
A
laptop.
laptop,
That's what I'm using
exactly.
now.
We
Yeah,
just sit at
I
the
used
bar.
to do this at my
Yeah.
my desk in my office, if you call it that. But I
Hmm.
feel like unfiltered conversations is just so much better done on a couch. Because again,
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
when we do like our big talks, like if we have an actual scheduled talk or something like that, I like to be in the chair and,
Yes.
and
So you've
behind the.
got an interesting few months coming up, haven't you, as far as that's concerned? So tell
Yeah.
everyone what you've got planned out.
So March 4th, this week coming up, we have Doug Ashton on to talk about his book on William Barksdale. We have our
Okay.
unfiltered author talks. We have our book club still a thing. We are planning to do that as we pick up here in the next few months. We're just trying to make sure there's available time for everybody. So that's why we didn't really set a date as to when we're going to do that. So don't think we've forgotten. We all have the book. We're all working on that. We're
Yeah, I'm glad you
reaching
brought
out
that up.
to, um, and then we have some other things coming up. Our first
Yes,
live in person event is actually going to be March 25th. So there's a place in Fredericksburg known as Haley's Honey Meadery, which is awesome. Just plug there for them because they're great folks too, and some great meat and food if you like that kind of
and you
stuff.
can even drink it out of a horn if
Yes, you
you're lucky.
can. I have a horn to drink it out of, and now I
There
have
you
this
go.
stand that you put the horn in, and it stands up on its own. I don't have to hang it off my wall and pull it off the wall to take a drink. And
That's the
so,
thing when you have a horn, and it's like, where do
yeah,
I put it?
I'm just holding it the whole time. Like I'm looking, like I'm like,
Like an algae,
I
yeah.
need to set this down. I don't have an arm to use now. It's like I have like one arm and I can't use anything else. I can't touch my mouse. I can't do anything. I just have this horn in my freaking hand.
You be careful there. I thought you was going into uncharted territory then with that conversation.
No,
Sorry,
no,
mate.
no.
Yeah.
You're good.
Anyway, carry on. Oh, anyway, Noel Harrison, we do apologise for not being on for the last 3 weeks, and we
Yes,
know that
he
you've
did like
probably
the
been
post.
desperate for content. So, sorry.
Yeah, we are very sorry. No, I'm going to make sure we feed you some unfiltered conversations here. And again, I wish I had more of a like structured history talk tonight, but it's kind of cool just to be back and chat for once
Yeah,
and
we
have
just
one of the
want to
off
talk.
kilter events.
Can I just compliment you on your great talk you did the other night, which was a complete and utter surprise. I didn't know that it
Yeah.
came out of the woodwork. And so, tell us how you met these two girls that
So
do this great thing.
I have been on Facebook. Obviously, I watch a lot of the stuff. If you guys are running podcasts or if you do, videos and talks on Facebook, 9 times out of 10, I like to tune in and watch because I love to see what other people are doing and what the engagements and conversations are on history. Well, I came across Hometown History, and one of the episodes I really was just like, oh my God, this is incredible. Being in the education system myself, they talked about the one room schoolhouses. And man, it was just incredible stuff. I was like, I'm eating this crap alive right now. And I was like, maybe I should talk to them because I've always wanted to share the wealth, if you will, like talk to other historians and ask about their brand, ask about their business, ask about what they're doing to promote conversation in history and really engage with the general public. And Hometown History just hit the nail on the head with everything that I wanted to do in talking to people. So I was like, I gotta have these guys on. I want to talk to them because they're doing something great and it needs to be shared. So that's where it came from. I've watched a lot of their content, reached out, and we set up a date, and we all got online and we chatted and had a great conversation. And it was cool because it was like you're mixing two different types of history brands too. And it's from, it's not from Fredericksburg, Virginia. It's not even the same thing we're doing where we just, ramble on about different history stuffs.
Yeah, what's going on with that boy?
I
But
don't know, man.
yeah, um, it was great to see their enthusiasm. It's nice to see other people in that field with the same enthusiasm that we have. And also um, the chemistry. They had a great chemistry.
They had a very similar story to how you and I met and started what we
Hmm.
do.
Obviously, they do things slightly differently, but that's good. We need something different. But they're doing a similar thing with the live stuff in bars and venues. Is that right?
Yes, they are indeed.
I'm going to send you another picture now because this is one of the boring machines that I was talking about, so you know what I'm on about. That's what dug the hole in the tunnel.
Oh, you got it. Cool, cool, cool. What the? That is
Yeah,
awesome,
it's like a
actually.
yeah.
Did you draw that with crayons too?
No, unfortunately,
Okay.
my crayon run out.
It
Um,
ran out.
yeah,
I love it.
the end broke off.
Here. Give us a minute. We should
But
have.
anyway, if there's anybody out there tonight that wants to come and join the conversation, just come and join. Look, we're just feeling like anyone can come and join. Look, if you want to come and join in, come join. There it is. Look at the size of that. Look,
Look at the size of the people compared to that thing.
I know.
Do you want to ask the burning question? What are you reading, Tyler?
Yeah, what are you reading, Tyler? Oh, I wonder whether
To
it's Titanic.
oh, how did you know? Yes, it is actually. But the first thing I'm reading before I get to Titanic again is this right here, which is the mental illness in
That's
the
cool.
Civil
That
War:
is pretty
Invisible
cool.
Wounds.
And
Yeah.
again, mental illness, sorry, during the Civil War, and then even wars up to World War Two, and maybe even a little bit further. It's basically you're mad, and that's the end of it. Go and sit in the corner,
Yeah, or
get
you
back
can't
out there and
handle it.
fight. You
Yeah.
know, they didn't understand mental illness,
And
and
then
it's something that needs to be looked into.
I agree. And then the next gem of a book that finally came in,
Ooh,
On a Sea of Glass, which is I didn't expect it. The people online, the reviews were like, it's the best book on the most authoritative on the Titanic right now, other than the 2 volume set I just got in, which weighs like almost 100 pounds per book. This is very small text, but it's filled with such good stuff. And I'm like, oh man, I almost want to peel these pages back and start reading this first before I read the mental illness in the Civil War book. But I'm going to be responsible. I'm going to read them in order that they came in, and I'm going to go with this one first because this is also very personal to me. I really have a belief that this should have been talked about sooner, and I'm
definitely.
glad to see that it's getting the attention that it's getting now. And I look forward to being able to talk to you guys more about this. Maybe even reach out to Dylan
I mean, thing
Carroll.
is, people have been through a lot of stuff in the last 2 years. You know, with the
Absolutely.
C word, and I mean, I'm even finding it tough at the moment with the whole Ukraine situation.
Oh,
And
sure.
I'm sorry I had to bring that up, but I have to because I feel strongly about it. It's upsetting seeing what we're seeing, and you know, I'm not going to delve too deeply into it
No.
because it's politics. But yeah, what do you say, eh? What do you say? It's a scary moment in history, and as a historian, we still never learn from our mistakes. And although you know, well, some people don't learn from mistakes, and all I can say is my support's with the Ukrainian people at this horrible time, and I hope they get through this.
Well said, Darren. Now, another thing I've kind of flirted with doing recently is maybe doing more live streams from the battlefield, even if it's just 5 to 10 minutes. I like doing those where I'm just on a walk and I bring you guys with me and just narrate what's going on and maybe, pull up a map or two, share where I'm walking at, something like that. I would love for you to also recap a bit about your experience this year at Great Torrington because that was the coolest thing we've seen on the
Okay,
page
yeah,
this year so far. If you don't mind, I would love to hear
yeah.
about that.
I mean, it's just an amazing place,
We
and
do have
again,
somebody joining us here soon, so I'm just giving them a few minutes to get in here. That's why I figured Torrington would be a good conversation for you to
okay,
start with.
cool. That's cool then. That's good that we got somebody else interested to want to talk. So yeah, I mean, Torrington is just a magical place for me. You know, I mean, we're going there, and I'll keep saying it, repeating it, 18 years in a row, minus COVID. And I just the people down there and everything about it. You know, unfortunately, the pub, the Black Horse, was closed because one of the ideas. And what I'll try and do next year is I'll try and bring a conversation from inside that pub if it's open again. But that pub is I've been told by Alan, and he says it on the video, was built in the 1100s. So it's got a lot of history to it. But it was there during the battle. But it went very well. We chose to do all the live videos on the Friday because the weather changed on the Saturday, and the weather was horrendous on Saturday. And so, luckily, we managed to do it when the weather was nice. But he pointed out some amazing things about the church that I'd never known before, especially the fact that they're still bringing up some of the rubble from the rivers and stuff, and then placing it next to the church.
Yeah,
And some of the rubble from the blast is actually still there, although he said it moves around a bit. And then also, then he goes and throws the one in there that there's a connection to Henry the Eighth's mother in Torrington as well. And it's like, what the hell? This place, this tiny little place in the middle of North Devon, has got so much history. It's crazy.
just tied to it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you had a lot of fun. I saw the live video that you did where you guys were actually marching through the streets of
Oh
Torrington.
yeah. So again, on the Saturday, we always do like a little promotional march to advertise that it's going to go on, and obviously Al being the town crier gets his bell out and he
That
gives it
was
a ring,
cool.
and you know he advertises the event, and then the march itself was pretty cool. And believe it or not, I was actually on the news, so I got interviewed
Yeah, that's
by
right.
a
You were on
local
the
TV
news.
station called I think they're called West Country News or something like that, and I still haven't seen the interview. So I've sent an email to these guys, I've sent a message, and they're ignoring me. And because I live in the southeast of England, I don't get to see West Country News. And
Oh,
my friend, he lives down in Torquay, which is literally the other side of it's in South Devon. And he told me, "Yeah, Darren, you're on the news." I went, "Well, I can't watch it, mate. You know,
he should have recorded it
I'm
for you.
gutted." But Alan was, Alan was a little bit put out. I think that I got interviewed, but it was all fun and games. We had a laugh about it, but it was great. Yeah. So I was famous for about 2 minutes,
For
and
about 2 minutes.
I couldn't fit my head in the pub door. I
Is that a
did.
saying,
The minute
Tim?
I got in the pub, I went, "I'm on the news, everyone. I'm on."
Everyone's like, "Hey, cheers!"
Yeah, and they all went, "Oh, are you?" But what was really great about it, because I filmed the march live, some of my friends that were in the pub. Oh, hello, mate.
Hello, hello, mate.
Some of the
Hello,
people that were in the
stranger.
pub didn't have to leave.
Yeah, get out
Oh,
of here,
thanks,
Darren.
Nate. That
Oh, he
means a
said, "Get
lot.
out of here, Darren." So Darren informed us earlier that he's been listening to an
Yeah,
American Revolution podcast,
yeah.
Tim.
Shocking.
It's not shocking when I've got influence like you two badgering on at me and you keep going on and on and on about it. I thought, well, I better find out what it's about, and
Oh, Nate said,
Sounds
"Daz, you're always going to be famous to me." That was nice of him.
Thanks, Nate.
So how goes it on your end, Tim? Any new historical developments going on in your world that you're
think you
reading
know.
about?
I think you know very well that I don't. I
Yeah,
did get that. I did get my Grant thumb drive
oh,
yesterday, so it was pretty cool.
have you gone through any of those yet?
Oh yeah.
It's probably no shortage of amazing just to be able to have something like that and that resource available. I'm still like trying to figure out what
Well, there
thumb
was an
drive.
interesting article that after. Yeah, Nate. Stop bragging. Sorry. There was an interesting article that Ben Butler wrote in some newspaper after he got canned after Fort Fisher,
Or like Beast
and
Ben Butler.
he's slamming Grant in it. Like
Oh,
it's an interesting article.
yeah, I'd like to see that sometime. That'd be cool to read.
So, Tim, where did you actually get this from?
Civil War Digital.
Oh, okay. So,
Darren,
what is
it's
that?
addicting.
Is that
Very
like a
much.
subscription thing, or?
No, you pay. So, for example, for I think it was $30 or thereabouts, 26 somewhere in that range. I got all of the grant papers digitized, every
Oh,
volume, searchable, plus a lot of older books, generally written before 1900, which would Nate popped up the
Yeah,
link.
nice.
Like a lot of books that would qualify as primary sources, a lot of articles, magazines, newspapers, whatever.
So again, it's a place to get that source from if you need it, if you're doing
Yep,
research
you can
on
get all of the ORs
anything.
digitized on there. You can get
Mhm.
various ones for different campaigns. Then they have the individual figures. They have a Robert E. Lee one and a Grant one. So
Awesome.
yeah, it's probably not the only one that I will ever get, but it'll be quite valuable.
Well, it's definitely
yeah,
worth the money.
Yeah.
100%.
that's awesome.
Yeah. So, Tim, did you go down to Petersburg last Monday?
No,
Oh, you
I
didn't. Have
wish.
you been
no,
traveling any
my dad
battlefields
was in
lately?
town, so
Okay. Have you been going around the battlefields lately, or have you had a rest from that?
a forced rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that. But yeah.
So
Well, soon I want to get him down to Petersburg because when we were down there, we'd be seeing Fort Fisher and Fort Welch, and not the fort. I guess it is the fort. I don't know how do you call it. The Fort
a
Fisher.
Fort Fisher.
A Fort Fisher. It's better. The Fort Fisher in Petersburg and Fort Welch were absolutely incredible, and it had me ended up finishing 2 books on Petersburg in a week, which was cool. So I did get to breeze through 2 of those, which led me on to the mental illness and the Civil War and the new Titanic book that showed up at my door yesterday.
Well, the Fort Fisher has the most impressive earthworks I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, I can imagine.
So
Fort Fisher of Petersburg. Yes, Nate. I went down there and Fort Welch, which is just on the opposite side of that, which is actually where the Sixth Corps had a lot of their men stationed when they were ready to go and attack on April 2nd, which
And again,
was
Petersburg's going to tie into the mental health thing because when you think about it, those Confederates went through a hard fucking time, didn't they? Excuse my
oh
French.
my gosh, yeah, it's French. But yeah, they Petersburg wasn't a walk in the park for any of these guys. And not like any of the battles where I'm sitting here like saying, "Oh, yeah, walk."
No,
They
nothing
were
was
all
easy, but
horrible.
this is a real horrible part of the war, isn't it? You know,
Exponentially so, man. And it's interesting too. One of the things that I've gathered so far just from reading the book here I've got on the mental illness in the Civil War is that there is a pretty good narrative on Saint Elizabeth as well, and it does break it down by like Confederate experience in the war, Union experience in the war. I mean, and a lot of that is common knowledge when it comes to that because we've read a lot of stuff on the soldier life and so on and so forth. But being able to actually dive in further into the stories on the the mental illnesses we may have known, may have not known about.
so what was their understanding of mental illness at the time?
Not that far in the book yet to be able to tell you that honestly.
Okay, cool.
Oh, Tim sent us some beautiful pictures here. Sweet. So let me go ahead and get those up for you guys. Save.
Tim, do you know what Walter is?
The what?
Thank you. That's what I said when he said the same thing. He said, there's a waltzer at the fun fair. I'm like, a what?
What
If
is it
it's a
wrong with you
spinny
lot?
thing, if it's a spinny thing, then I would
Yes.
not do that.
I'm with you. We'll have to sit that one out, man.
I don't do spinny things. Like the worst ride in the history of bad rides is the teacups at Disney
I
World.
don't like the rides that drop you.
Oh, I
love
like
I
those.
don't like those seats, those
Yeah.
elevator seats. Nah, I ain't
Like
doing
greatest
that.
ride ever was Tower of Terror.
I wanted to ride that. I never had the opportunity to. I heard that was a fantastic ride.
Oh, that's a good ride. That's not too bad. But like you can get these ones without where you literally are just hanging in the air and you drop, and I just don't like it.
That's the drop tower at King's Dominion down the
The
street.
drop zone.
Yep.
Oh,
They call
I
it
just don't
drop
like the
tower now.
sensation of being dropped.
I don't mind that. Spinning doesn't do well for me.
Oh wow, look at that. Nice picture.
Yeah, that's the Union perspective. That's from the top of the Confederate earthworks looking to where the other one was.
All right, let me get rid of the picture of the waltzer real quick so that I can pull. He actually was nice enough to send us a picture of what a waltzer was. 'Cause we got it kind of sidetracked in conversation there. We were talking about the English Channel, and he brought up a fun fair that he went to one day. And he said, "Yeah, they have waltzers there." What?
This
Very
place
good,
looks amazing. Wow.
Yeah, very big.
Maybe you can help me answer or better explain this. Do you recall learning about the hot shot furnaces at Drury's Bluff?
Yeah.
Can you explain that better than my layman's term of explaining that? Because Darren brought up a good point. He's like, how did they carry that? And I said, well, I hope they didn't burn themselves. That's a heck of a burn.
They use tongs.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I said they probably used a really big pair of tongs to carry that thing
Yeah,
up.
basically they had to anyway because the shot often weighed a lot. So they'd heat the metal in the furnaces and pull it out with the hope of setting wooden ships afire.
So it was used against wooden ships. It wouldn't have been used against ironclads
I
then.
mean, you could have tried.
But
Yeah.
it wouldn't have really done much, would it? It would have just
No.
bounced off, I suppose.
Bing.
Yeah, bing. And then, yeah.
Another
Sizzled as
interesting
it went
thing.
into the water.
I could
Be an
imagine.
interesting thing to see, I guess.
I
Yeah.
would say so. Just the
Yeah.
process. And it was cool
big
because we saw
glowing
the
ball.
remains of it. Yeah, they had to have heated it up to some pretty extreme temperatures in order to throw that, I would think. I don't know if it'd be glowing orange when they shot it, but it very well could have been.
I think they were red.
Oh. I
Still,
wonder if
that's
somebody
hot.
had to test it, see whether it was hot. Ow!
But yeah,
People did interesting things with shells, trying to stop balls that were rolling, thinking that they could just use their foot and it
Oh,
ricochets
yeah,
it
yeah. I've
off.
heard that story loads of times, yeah.
yeah, it's
I
like,
mean, it's true.
I know,
Kinetic
let's kick it
energy
like a
is
football.
it's confusing.
yeah. So I also had another book come in the mail that I haven't been able. I read it already, but I got the physical copy. The Cedar Mountain Day Antietam book finally showed up, which is exciting. So I'm gonna be eventually getting to that. But I got again bogged down into this. On a Sea of Glass finally showed up, Tim, too. That was another really cool one. And
Titanic.
how did you know? I started to get that historical confusion, as I call it, when you're reading about more than one topic. And I accidentally called the folks that were on the Ironclad's passengers earlier on this. I was like, yeah, they're, the passengers. Like, wait a
Tickets,
minute.
please. I didn't get a ticket. I didn't get a bloody choice.
It's like, oh, Stonewall Jackson sailing on the Titanic.
That's
going to
why I
San Juan
stick
Hill
with.
again.
That's why, despite having interest in other things, I tend to stick with different eras, but ground combat in general.
Smart move, because then I felt so bad. I just called these guys passengers.
For me, I don't find, and I know it is interesting, but it just doesn't interest me. But I don't find the naval part of the Civil War interesting.
I
And
didn't
I don't know
until
whether that's
recently.
just me. I just don't. I apologise if I've offended anyone, but I don't find it interesting. And it probably is interesting, but
Nate says he recommends the following. Nate, what's the name of the book? I got the link, but since I'm live, I am not able to click into it yet. But you should tell us the title so I can know what we're talking about. Because I'm hoping it's a Titanic book, but I know it's not. It's going to be Civil War naval history. I hope.
Don't worry, Tim, because me and Tyler are going to do a couple of live Titanic videos.
What are you going to do? Row out into North Atlantic and point the camera down?
Yeah, and be like, it's somewhere down there. Oh, I've got that.
We're gonna show the clip from Ghostbusters 2 when the Titanic arrives.
Big hole in it.
Yeah.
I think they actually filmed that before Ballard found it.
They had to. Well, yeah, he found it in 87.
No, then maybe not. But I don't think they knew what sank it or what the damage looked like. So, for all they knew, it was a big hole. But that seems.
Yeah.
Well, the size of the size of the hole in the film would have sank the ship in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. Yeah.
So
you are right.
Browsing through the Sea of Glass book, they do a fantastic thing that I'm so happy about, is that they debunk the stupid conspiracy theory that has come out of the Titanic lure recently. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with it, but there's this huge conspiracy that a lot of people are buying, that, well, the Titanic was actually the Olympic, and when it crashed into the Hawk, they decided to make an insurance fraud, so they switched the two ships and they purposely sank the Titanic out there on the ocean. I was like, yeah, they strategically set the iceberg just right out in the ocean. That's cool. We can go. We're buying that there is a strategically placed iceberg. Two, it's kind of hard to do that when even still today, 2 miles beneath the ocean floor, or beneath the ocean, we can go right to the bow of the Titanic and it says Titanic on it.
And all the artifacts have been taken off it. But they never found Leonardo DiCaprio. That's the thing that bothered me.
No. Now, there is... Okay. So there's actually an interesting story about that. Now, the movie depicts a Jack Dawson.
Yes.
In Halifax, in the Titanic cemetery, buried there is a man by the name of J. Dawson.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
He was not in love with Rose. They did not go and try to get on this wooden platform. He was a crew member.
Okay.
And
that's a nice little bit of history.
It is. Because of the movie, though, he unfortunately... I don't know if this is disrespectful to some. To me, I'm a little like... It's kind of sad that it, but people go and put movie posters of Jack Dawson and Leonardo DiCaprio all on his grave, and will like put yeah.
That's very disrespectful in my eyes.
So it's taking away from a brave crew member who stayed in the bottom of the ship, whether by force or wanting to keep this ship powered as long as possible. There's a story of a bunch of electrical workers that were working on the Titanic's electrical equipment to try and keep it still running while it was sinking. And he was a part of that crew. And, he did much more valiant and heroic things than the fictional character that's seen in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something to be said. Like, is this okay to go to this guy? It's cool because the story's now out more and people know more about the real Jay Dawson that was on Titanic. His name was not Jack Dawson either. I actually don't even think we have his first name. We probably do somewhere in the records, but his grave is just simply marked Jay Dawson. So of course the moviegoers are just.
Well, we're gonna
no
discuss
disrespect to the
anyway,
movie either. It's a fantastic movie. It garnered a lot of interest. It's very similar to your Ken Burns in the Civil War. You know, when those movies come out, or Gettysburg, you know, or the movie, which Tim,
I think as far as
can't
CGI
watch that
and
movie the
stuff
same
like that's
anymore after
concerned,
you
it's
showed
actually
me that.
groundbreaking. You know,
why not?
Because they put trees over General Warren in the movie.
And called it Big Round Top, yeah, but
Yeah.
most people knew that already.
I didn't. Darren, did you know that?
What's that? Sorry.
You've seen the movie, right?
Of what?
The movie.
The
The
movie.
movie.
Yeah,
The
Gettysburg.
movie.
Yeah,
No,
we
I
call
don't
it
think
the
I've seen
movie.
that.
You've never seen Gettysburg?
Oh, Gettysburg. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh man.
Yeah, that went
No,
right over
we
my head. I
all
thought
call
you
it
was-
the movie because it's.
Oh,
have you
okay,
ever
sorry,
seen
yeah.
Gettysburg? Yeah, that's
of course,
the common. Yeah.
1,000 times, yeah.
Okay. Well, you probably know this then, seeing 1,000 times. When they have that scene of the signal flags going off on Big Round
Nope.
Top, it's not that one.
Nope, it's the scene where Chamberlain and his men are on Big Round
That's
Top
right.
at the beginning of day 3.
That's it. Yeah,
Okay.
he has coffee. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
there it's
well-
not Big Round Top.
No, it was filmed on Little Round Top, and they took a bunch of brush and trees and covered the Warren Monument. And if you look and pause it, you can actually see the Warren Monument in the film.
Can you really?
Yes, you can.
Yes.
I'm looking for that now.
Oh my gosh, he showed me. I was like, "What the heck is
Wow.
that?"
There you go, guys. Go
At
and
least
have a
it's
look.
signed that they filmed on the battlefield. Some would find that cool.
I do
Yeah.
find it cool. It's just I was like,
I mean, I guess it's more picturesque to film there than on actual Big Round Top, which is
Yeah.
hard to. It's very.
a lot of boulders up there too.
Yeah, I mean, I went up there, but I can't remember much about it, to be fair.
Nate said Mecca. ... It is, which is why I haven't.
Disneyland. It's Disneyland.
I haven't picked up a lot on Gettysburg recently.
There are different analogies. They are appropriate.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's still a wonderful place, you know.
Darren, you're sitting there searching for the picture, aren't you?
Am I what? No,
You're
not yet.
Oh, okay. Well,
Later.
if you have the movie, just rewind it and you'll find it.
Yeah.
It's not hard to find at all.
Well, I'm going to be looking out for that from now on.
So should I
I'm
start
not
the
gonna be able to
Burnside beard
watch it
now?
in the same light now because of you. You've ruined it for me now.
Good. I'm glad. I'm just kidding.
Thanks, mate.
Daz, I do have to ask you, and Tim too. I'm now getting the beard finally growing in, and my sudden urge to shave most of it and make the Burnside mutton chops is real.
Hmm.
Oh,
You'll do it. You'll have it for exactly like a day, and then you'll start growing it back out because you won't like it.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
No. Okay. I'll do it in December.
Or, you know, maybe you can just try
Let it get more full and then like actually have the puffed out.
Can you not stick something on to see what it looks like, you know, maybe?
You know, I actually have 2 new books coming. I got 2 Normandy books.
Oh.
One is I Witnessed Normandy and the other's I Witnessed D-Day. It's a 50th anniversary thing. And then what is it? I forget what the other one is, but it's another first person personal experiences.
Well, I would actually like to commemorate Normandy, the D-Day landings this year, somehow on our channel actually, and sit there and have a discussion about it.
It's I Witnessed D-Day and D-Day Normandy are the titles of the 2 books.
Because what frustrates me as a Brit, and I think Canada and Britain get forgotten about in the battle on D-Day, I feel.
Sure.
It is true.
And yes, okay, I know Omar Beach was the worst beach from what I understand. The British beaches were not as well defended as the Americans' beaches, but they did happen as well, you know, and so that's why I want to do something on it, and I'm going to focus on the British.
Well, I would argue that the most cohesive probably best executed aspect of at least the airborne operations was the British operation on Pegasus Bridge and the one on the opposite side. So, I mean, part of that, it just, I mean, unfortunately stems from Hollywood with, the longest day and, Band of Brothers and stuff. I mean, but from an American perspective, they're just things that we've always found compelling. Yes, Omaha Beach, and that almost goes without saying nowadays.
Yeah.
But you'll have like the 101st, Band of Brothers type stuff.
Yeah.
But even in the American sector, there's overlooked stuff like one of what should be even better known than some of that is the 82nd Airborne's defense of the Lafayette Bridge. There's a big Iron Mike statue out there today, and allegedly Jim Gavin's foxhole and stuff, but where they repelled tanks trying to cross this bridge, with light airborne infantry. But generally speaking, I mean, after June, the thing I find frustrating about Normandy, and this is not in any way, shape, or form to diminish the accomplishments of anyone on June 6th, is that the battle lasted in Normandy like, 60, 90 days more. And the British sector, around Caen was a lot more intense. They faced more German armor. It was better country for armor. They had the airfield, the Carpet K airfield, and other things to deal with. So, I mean, we know the Germans were stronger around Calais. So to get to the American sector, they'd actually have to get through the British sector first.
What I've always loved about it is the biggest bluff ever. I mean, we completely fooled the Germans with they had blow up tanks and everything in Kent, where I live. And in that time, they massed all of the troops in the other parts of the south coast of England and managed to get away with it, and fool the Germans into thinking that everything's in Dover. And I just think it was great, I think it's absolutely
That's right.
brilliant.
You do live in the area of that, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. And, but I mean, it's the biggest amphibious landing in history, and it's got to be talked about. And I always try and think of how, can you imagine that morning when the German officer who first spots the convoy of ships and troop carriers coming across the channel gets his glasses and sees that lot coming? He must have shit himself.
I was going to say, it must have got smelly there pretty quick.
Can you imagine? He must have gone, oh my.
Well, have you actually seen a 16-inch gun?
No.
Let me see if I can find one to provide perspective. I'll send it to Tyler.
Sure. Thank you.
But I mean, wow, what an operation! And I know obviously a lot of people.
Look, I've seen a Columbia at Fort Darling,
just amazing.
Bluff, and that was terrifying enough. I was just like, yeah, no. I can only imagine a 16-inch gun.
But again, I did talk about this with Tyler last week. I've been watching a very interesting documentary, and I've actually put it on hold because of everything that's going on in the world at the moment, because I don't want to watch it. But been watching a thing called The Rise of the Nazis, and I know it sounds a bit wrong to be watching something like that, but it's a BBC documentary.
Sure, you're fine.
It delves into the mindset of a dictator, and it's very interesting. And in the second series, it focuses on the East and Hitler's mistakes, big, massive mistakes of going for oil fields when he should have taken Moscow and things like that, and it's just very interesting. And Stalin as well. Stalin is a dictator too, and you've got these big dictators butt heads, and it's a very fascinating program.
Yeah.
And
there you go.
Yeah. Cool.
So yeah, I mean, I've been super fascinated by, Gold Beach or Juno Beach, where the Canadians were, because within the subset of the British Canadians, you have the Canadians who are almost totally overlooked.
Yes, completely overlooked. Agree. Yeah.
So, and it goes beyond Normandy. You know, most people don't look very closely at the British sector on Sicily. They don't look really what's happening on the British advance up the Italian peninsula. The British
And you've got North Africa as well, haven't you? Yeah.
outside of Battle Britain, the you know, you guys get known for El Alamein, and that's about it, unfortunately, which is truly tragic. I mean, the RAF, the RAF experience did not end in 1940.
No.
You know, you have the dam busters, and they were leading the long range bombing too. So,
wow, goodness me.
No, thank you.
so
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Germans.
That's the shell for a 16-inch gun. It's roughly as big as a large kit. That's how much powder is required to fire it. These are rather big bags, like you're talking having to bear hug them, except they're heavy.
God.
How many? So that's just one round being fired, or is that
Yes,
a bunch
from
of
one gun, and there would be 3 of these in each turret.
Wow.
And that was from the North Carolina, USS North Carolina.
which was there during the battle?
No, that one was in the Pacific, but there were battleships there. I mean, some battleships were 9 guns, others were 12. They have at the Washington Navy Yard, they have a piece of shell from a piece of armor from a Yamato class Japanese battleship that they had shot to test what this did, and it melted through it. It just went straight through it. Like, you can take your hand to this day and rub the inside of the hole, and it's completely smooth. And this armor, try to convey scale, is probably like this thick. It's just insane. And that's probably a conservative estimate. It's been a while since I saw it. But they were nasty. And, that 16 inches measures the diameter of the shell. So it's quite large and long, probably 2.5 feet tall.
You're right. There's the size of a.
Yeah, I should have laid down. Should have had a picture with me laying down next to it to convey the size, because it's hard to describe.
Yeah.
Next time I find myself on a battleship, I'll do that. Because I'm 6'3". It would really put that into perspective, you know.
I bet you'd knock yourself unconscious on any ship.
Probably.
Naval ship. You're going to knock your head on a bulkhead.
Definitely. Yeah, you'd have to bend over the whole time.
Just walk down with my head.
Submarine would probably kill you.
Probably.
Yeah, you'd be walking like Quasimodo.
I already do.
The bunks are probably what would kill you.
Yeah.
No, you'd have to sleep knee to chest on your side. So if you don't sleep on your side, you're host.
Yeah, I don't sleep on my side. It's either back or on my stomach, actually.
It'd be problematic.
Yeah, it would. I wouldn't be able to sleep. I'd be sitting here like just huddled up, like, oh, this is uncomfortable.
There's a couple sub museums. I think
there's one in Baltimore, I think, that I went on. But I was a kid then, so I fit fine.
History Underground did a thing where he actually stayed a night on a sub. You can actually stay a night there. It's one of his videos.
Well,
I'm actually tempted. I'm tempted to look into that one.
Staying the night on a sub.
This year I'm actually going to go and visit HMS Victory, because it's in Portsmouth.
Oh, cool.
I've never been there. I'm going to do that. Also up the road from me, I've got Chatham Dockyards, so they've got a few things up there.
And you've got the Titanic exhibit.
And also there's a battleship, I believe, in the Thames, I think, just outside the Tower of London. So I'll visit that.
Hey, is the Titanic exhibit still there?
Yes, it is. It's been extended because it's so popular. Yeah.
Are there any? Has Britain preserved any of its World War II battleships?
I think so. I'm not 100% sure. I'm sure they have.
I know there's a few Spitfires out there, which You'd probably be shocked at the wide popularity of the Spitfire here in the States.
Well, the best thing about where I live is we have the Battle of Britain Memorial site, which is at Gablefern. It's about a 5-minute drive from here. And then at Hawkinge, there was an airfield. And the
In
guy
where?
that owns the land is called Hawkinge. It's just up the hill from me. There is a place called the Battle of Britain Museum. And he has literally the biggest collection of parts and wreckages of, World War II, basically, in his museum. He also has a couple of movie prop planes, one being the Red Baron one, from one of the, I don't know what movie it's from. But he also has about 3 Messerschmitts in there, along with, you're not allowed to take pictures, though. He doesn't allow you to take pictures, but he does have a nice little Facebook page. I do share some of his content sometimes.
Okay.
And at the moment, they're currently doing so there's a famous picture of pilots sitting on the airfield there, and he's getting models, clay model. I don't know where they're clay. I don't know what they're made out of. Bronze statues of them sitting on the airfield, and they're going
If I can find it.
to be unveiled this summer, actually.
This summer.
Yeah, it's going to be an interest. I'm going to go up there. I think I'm going to try and film some of it.
So my next
they're actually opening a brand new World War II museum in just outside Gettysburg, massive, with a lot of vehicles.
Is that going to be this year?
Yeah, it's supposed to open this year.
But also, I've been told there's a place where I need to go and visit. It's called Duxford, Imperial War Museum, Duxford, and they have everything you can think of as far as World War II bombers and planes you could think of up there.
Maybe I should send you to the airfield where my cousin flew out of. He flew out of, well, I had 2 cousins that flew B-24s. Both actually ended up dying. One was a navigator, one was a bombardier, the other was a pilot. They both died in mid-air collisions over Germany, but I know the airfield for one of them. The other one, I think, was flying out of Africa.
I mean, I don't know.
I should send you on a hunt to this airfield, which apparently you can still see from satellite imagery. You can see the layout of the airfield today. It looks, you can see where the World War II airstrip was. So it's pretty interesting.
I mean, a lot of this airstrip in Hawkinge has obviously been lost to housing development, he fought against it. This guy that owns a museum, he fought really hard, and he obviously lost. Which is a shame, but yeah, it was important airfield during World War II. Literally there. Of course, it's so close to the Channel. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I'm definitely going to go and visit some of them sites this year.
You should go see if I've heard you guys had some of these really impressive radar sites.
Oh, we had some of the best
on the
radar
coastlines.
sites,
I wonder if any of them are still there.
I think they are, yeah. I think there are some dotted about. I'll do some digging around and find out and go visit some.
Take a look at those, because these were rather impressive and large radars.
Oh, they were huge, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember seeing a TV program about 3 or 4 years ago, where some couple bought an old radar station and then converted it into a house. So yeah, they're dotted about.
This is my Normandy book for the year, since I just read Sicily.
It's a good book.
Yeah.
I have it on Audible, though.
Do you? Okay. I just started getting into audiobooks. I actually, darn well which one I just finished.
You finished it finally?
I finished it. Well, during my breaks at the pub, too, I go out to my car a lot, and I sit out in my car for a little bit, since it's just, it's not as noisy. It's kind of a relaxing area. And I listened to my book, and I finished it, and I liked it a lot. Which, of course, I know I'm jumping around history again. I have the next book on that subject here as well, chosen.
Also,
I've heard different things about this book, though.
I hear it's a good book. It's just it's
a heroic ordeal of the Korean War by Eric Hamill.
Yeah, the problem I see is with Korea, it so often just gets boiled down to, North Korea invades, then you got Incheon, which is the Marine Corps. Then the UN forces push up towards the Yalu, and then the Chinese come in, and then you have Chosin, which is, of course, the Marine Corps. And then it stagnates for 2 years around the 38th parallel, end of story. There's a lot more to it than that, and you listen to the book, so you know that narrative forgets the 2nd Infantry Division and the 23rd Infantry Regiment and Paul Freeman and the fight through whatever pass that was. You just listen, so you should know. Just a lot of different things that happened. UK units were there, pushing through this pass, trying to get out. And a lot of really heroic stuff that gets overlooked because Chosin is so consuming. And that is not to slight the Marine Corps. It's just the historiography of the war is so dominated by it. Very much, like another theater of World War II that we haven't discussed today.
What's that one?
The Pacific.
Is there anything in the Pacific that strikes your mind?
Yeah, the fact that the vast majority of all combat forces, ground forces in the Pacific theater were United States Army forces.
I never knew that. See, I always thought that I've been studying just briefly into World War II, but I've always thought that the Marines were Pacific.
I mean, if anything, the stereotype is true. It's that it was very much a Navy fight. I would prefer to say it's the Navy's biggest fight, but the Philippines are taken almost exclusively by the Army. Yes, the Navy got them there, and they fought Battle of Leyte Gulf, and a couple others. Kwajalein, that was Army largely. You have the Army in New Guinea. Most of the combat power on Okinawa was U.S. Army. I think Saipan was about 50-50. Yeah. So that's just a snippet. I don't know if you know this, but the Japanese actually took 2 U.S. owned. It took 2 islands that are part of Alaska, actually took and held for a period of time. The battles of Kiska and Attu were the name of the islands, and that was the Army's campaigns to take those islands back.
So I sent you 3 pictures of that
you
memorial
did.
site.
They're coming up now.
Cool.
Now, real quick too, Tim, we saw an RAF soldier in the Fredericksburg National Cemetery, didn't we? Or a soldier in an RAF burial. Yep, I thought we did. Darren, I thought you might find that interesting since I haven't spoken to you too much with everything going on. But yeah, me and Tim were walking around the Fredericksburg National Cemetery recently. And while we were doing that, in the back there's an RAF gravesite.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that interesting?
I mean, there was a lot of there was quite a few Americans that came over and flew in the RAF and Canadians, and so that's the memorial wall.
It's like the
I
Vietnam
am going
Memorial
back
here
up
in
there
the
at some point,
States.
but the weather's not been great to us, so it's very windy up there because it's up on the cliff.
The White Cliffs of Dover.
Pretty much, yeah. So yeah, that's the memorial wall.
This one's loading now.
And then that is a picture from the sky. That's what the center where you go, and obviously they've done the ground out like a propeller, and then they have 2 dummy. They have a Spitfire and a Hurricane. And that's the monument they have sitting in the middle.
That's pretty. How far are you from that?
It's a pretty place, I can tell you. You can see literally, you can see Folkestone from up there. It's quite high up, and you can see.
So you're not far from there at all. Are you far from this?
No, that takes me take me 5 minutes in the car.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe a live video from there wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah, so I did a live video at the beginning of when I first started this stuff, but there was snow on the ground at the time. Walked up there in the snow, actually.
Did
and
you?
it wasn't very good quality. So I am planning to go back up there when the weather's nicer.
And
But it's
just
so
kind of
windy
rehab
up
it.
there; it's horrendous. Because again, you're right on the coast, you know. But also, you can actually pay £3,000 to go up in a Spitfire. My friend's done it, and I quite often in the spring and summer see the Spitfires flying over Folkestone and Dover. They fly up into the channel and then they come back round. But that's the people that have paid the £3,000 to do it, you know.
Yeah, because I don't know that I'm
I'm
able
used to
to.
hearing the noise of them going past, you know. It's quite something.
I mean, I think that would be awesome, but I don't think I could justify 3,000.
No.
No.
I mean, if you're a millionaire, then, you know, or you got more money than sense, and yeah. But again, the museum itself is in another place, but that is pretty amazing. And if you
You know
ever
what?
make it to the UK, I shall make sure we fit that in.
We can make sure we fit that in. I plan to go soon. Whenever you
And
have me coming up.
it is a pretty cool place.
Yeah.
Also, along that coastline there, so next door to the music, to the monument place, there's a
Hmm.
place called Capel Battery.
Cable
And at the
battery.
moment, they're excavating a World War II gun emplacement, which was obviously an
Oh.
anti-aircraft gun emplacement, and it was a pretty big one too, right up there on the cliff. And then all along the cliff's edges, you have um, what we call pillow boxes, where you would have men stationed, lookout posts, basically, you know, where you'd have them looking out across the channel to
Hmm.
make sure no one's coming across. And then underneath Dover Castle, you had a communication hub of tunnels and a hospital, which basically, you know, was a secret place where they basically charter, you know, they planned out where the planes would go during the Battle of Britain.
I need to see this.
And again, they've been closed up because of the C word, and hopefully they're reopened again. And as soon as I can, I will be down there.
Darren, you know, the history we have differences of like just the different eras of history, and I said
Mm.
this earlier when you did Torrington because I was like the fact that you were like hanging out with
I
Al
mean,
and
we just trip
Al
over
from
it, you know. That's the
1300,
thing.
yeah.
Did you see my little video as well, Tim? I did. I stopped. My friend stopped me at a place along the way, and we stayed. We stopped at so you know the Zulu Wars. We stopped at the
Yeah,
guy's
I
grave.
saw the
Yeah,
chards burial. Yeah,
yeah,
I thought
that's it.
that's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, that was completely unexpected. I didn't even expect that to happen. My friend said, "Yeah, I know where it is. It's along this road." I said, "Well, let's go then. You know, let's do
As
it.
you
You know,
went,
we're here." That was
Darren. What
pretty
time
cool.
is it over there for you?
It's 20 to 5 in the morning. So yeah, it'd be time to go do bed soon. But I'm on nights tonight, so I'll go to bed during the day. You know, so
You're a brave
I'm not
soul.
I'm nocturnal.
You're nocturnal.
Mm. But yeah, we've got
Nocturnal.
so much. You know, it's and sometimes having too much is probably a bit of a pain. Actually, you know.
I couldn't keep up with your history over there, man. You guys so much of it, but it's awesome that you have that. Like I said, and the wealth of different things that you have to access over in England is just
And then again,
it's
like
me.
I posted up a post the other day about the Martello Towers again because it's something that I've been meaning to focus on for a little while, and it's Napoleonic defences, you know, which we have, and they're still sitting there, and they've got graffiti on now, which is disappointing. But and some of them have been converted into houses, but they're interesting, you know.
Sounds good to me, brother.
And
Well,
then
guys,
there you
I
go.
want to let Darren get to sleep because
Yeah.
it's kind of getting late for him, and it's not too late for us over here. In fact, like I said, I'm surprised I even got off of the pub as early as I
Well,
did. It was
I'm
just
glad that we went back on again because it's been a little while, and again, I'd
it
like
has.
to to repeat what Tyler said. We haven't given up on the book club. It's just that finding the time to read this book for me has been quite hard lately. I've been snowed under with a lot of projects. I start one and start the next. You know, it's like it's just it's like a conveyor belt.
I'm
So
in the exact same boat, Darren.
Me too.
and the thing is, I've got a real interesting one that So I had just recorded a video last night with Brian Cheesebro. Everyone, it'll be up tomorrow. But I was contacted by Offspray Publishing, and I'm interviewing one of their authors on a new cool little US Civil War book that's coming out. And there will be a discount code. There will be a 15% discount code for that going along with that. So that's coming up. I'm interviewing the guy next weekend. So watch this space.
You are going to be interviewing
else
somebody
coming up, guys, that you want to plug?
Just the interview I have on March 4th, and then the history trivia at Haley's Honey Meadery that's coming up as well.
Actually, Tim, while I've got you here, I met one of your friends last Sunday.
Yeah, one of our camp members.
One of your
what was his name?
Guys.
What?
His name is Jay.
Yeah, what about him?
He is he came on to so you might have seen that we're doing a thing called Memorials for UK US Civil War veterans. We had a stakeholders meeting, and he has actually contributed financially to the charity. So Gina invited him along, the lady that's running this project.
What is his name again?
He gave us some real good pointers. His name's Jay. I can't remember his second name. I said, "Oh, you must know my friend Tim, because he's part of the Fredericksburg camp, isn't he?"
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You met him.
You know
He
Tyler?
sat in the back at the
Tyler
dinner.
is. I said, "You what?"
Okay. Yeah, he didn't know who I was because Darren's like, Tyler.
But it's just a small world, isn't it? It's crazy.
It is.
And I'm like, wow,
That is crazy.
But yeah, he's been a good big supporter, and also I was contacted by Sons of Union Veterans National Branch to they want to do a podcast with me. So
hey, that's awesome.
Hell yeah!
So
they just recently liked my post on Instagram too and commented and was like, "Welcome aboard the national camp."
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think they're trying to reach a slightly younger audience. I think that's the thing, and also they like the connection between the UK and America.
Somebody's been saying that for a long time that we, and that's for every history organization. We need the young.
Well, of course, yeah, because I see it as well in the Roundtable UK that I'm in. I mean, there's about 3 young people. The rest are, and I don't mean it in a nasty way, but they're all getting on a bit. And
it's
we need
how things are.
We need us, we need us younger people. Although me and Tim are sort of like middle-aged now, aren't we, Tim?
Ouch!
Wow.
Well, I'm nearly 40, Tim. So I don't know about you, but
nearly 40. So yeah.
So you was born in 1983, I think, was you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm 82. So I've got a little bit of a head start on you by a little bit.
So we're all nearly 40 here.
We're not middle-aged till we cross the 40. Yeah. So don't throw me in that category. Don't hate on me like that.
Sorry, Tim.
Tim, you remember my meme that I shared a long time ago? It had the picture of it was like middle-aged, or how I feel when someone calls me middle-aged, and it's an old knight from the Middle Ages walking around with the jousting horse. So I'm like, this is great.
Yeah, maybe that's how I'll think of it.
The thing is, Tim, I knew how old you was the minute you mentioned Roland Rat. I mean, that's it. You're from my generation, mate.
I am.
I mean,
I'm the only Yank probably who knows who Roland was.
Exactly, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, all that stuff,
Yeah.
Masters of the Universe.
Absolutely.
That is the classics. They don't make cartoons like that anymore, Tim, do they?
G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe. Do you remember Mask? That was amazing.
Yeah.
See, look, he doesn't have a clue, does he? He ain't got a bloody clue.
I mean, I'm nearly 40, but I should be saying this.
You're not nearly 40.
You're not nearly 40. You're a decade away.
You're not even 30 yet.
That's close enough.
No.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm almost 30. Okay, almost.
Oh, what?
Yeah, in like 3 years.
Yeah.
I'm still not getting any sympathy here.
No sympathy.
Yeah, I know.
I think Darren and I ought to just start sending you pacifiers and bottles.
Wow.
Anyway.
I mean, if you're gonna throw, if we're gonna throw the middle age thing.
Hey, Darren threw that one up. That wasn't me.
Well, but then I got a baby on the screen, so I got to throw the bottle.
You should be a baby. I've got this. No, I'm not a baby anymore. It's my 27th birthday.
You just got some. What's that one movie? baby born old
Benjamin
and
Button.
young.
Benjamin Button, right?
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
just the Benjamin Button case.
He's
maybe.
definitely a case. I'll give you that.
Love you
So-
too, Darren.
The fact that you knew that movie is impressive, because the list of movies you don't know is
Yeah. Oh God,
Yeah.
we can make a
Disney
whole
movies.
episode. Yeah, I'm not a Disney fan, so I didn't grow up watching barely any of them. And if I was to even list just the top 3 I haven't seen, you guys, Tim, but like they're in. I've never seen Aladdin.
You're not
I've never
missing much.
That's what I've heard. God, I've
I've got
never
2
seen
girls.
Beauty
I
and
have
the
to carve
Beast.
all of it.
I've never seen Beauty and the Beast. I have never seen Little Mermaid,
Pocahontas,
Pocahontas.
Lion King.
I've seen Lion King.
Okay.
He's seen Paul.
I have seen Paul, but we wouldn't call that a Disney
You made
movie.
me watch
per
it about
se.
4 times.
Yeah, because we couldn't get through it. We'd fall asleep as soon as we tried to watch it. He'd be
You
over
only
there on
made
the
me
air
watch it
Yet
mattress.
he
Yeah,
did
pretty
see.
cool,
Yet
yeah.
he is a big fan of They Shall Not Grow Old. So
Yeah, that's a pretty cool program.
Fantastic movie. Saw that in
Amazing.
theaters actually. That was a rare treat.
Yeah.
And then you have to also, if you're seeing in theaters, you had to stay for Peter Jackson's like
documentary how he did it.
Yes, that was awesome too.
I've got a big admiration for Peter Jackson. I'm a big Peter Jackson fan. I'm a Lord of the Rings fan, so as in the films, not the books. You know, I'm massive Lord of the Rings
Are you
fan.
excited about the
I'm
show?
going to watch Return of the King 6 times at the cinema.
I've read the books, but I haven't seen a lot of the films.
What?
I've seen
And you know what?
Yeah, I have. I've parts of them. I've seen the entire
I mean-
Return of the King,
I mean, the battle scene at Helm's Deep is goosebump time, you know.
but I haven't seen the two.
And not only that, they
before
use
that.
pikemen as well.
Do they?
You know.
Are
That's
you
what
are you excited about the show or not?
I'm super excited. I've seen the trailer and I got a little bit excited. A lot of people are slating it, but that's up to them, isn't it?
It is.
You know, a lot of people were saying that about the movies too, but public
Yeah.
opinion won
Look, the
out.
thing is, the movies are never going to follow the books properly.
They can't. Too much
They
in the
can't.
books.
It's too much, and as you know,
I mean,
Tolkien's
let's
gone
be
into
real.
nitpicking
I mean-
every detail.
I mean, what would the incentive have been to create a movie that actually showed a character in the beginning who, had he actually cared, could have destroyed the ring by swallowing it?
Yeah.
So they had to cut him out. I mean, Tom Bombadil is not a major character.
Exactly.
And
So
yes,
that's
he could have.
Harry
He
Potter
could have been
theory.
the only other thing that could have destroyed the ring. So he cut it. Jackson didn't cut out anything that was vital.
No. And if you
Nothing.
go and watch the extended versions, you'll get extra bits anyway. And
I do have to
as
let
soon
you
as they
see
came
my
out, I
shirt
bought those.
before we
Anyway,
leave,
going
too.
back to Harry Potter.
Yes.
Now, Lord of the Rings, the first film in 2001, came out at exactly the same time as the Philosopher's Stone. So I
Sorcerer's
chose
Stone.
not to watch Harry Potter because you was either a Harry Potter fan or a Lord of the Rings fan at the time, and I went Lord of the Rings route. I did eventually watch Harry Potter later on because I did enjoy it. But I mean, the battle scenes in the Lord of the Rings are amazing. The battle of Minas Tirith
Helm's
is amazing. Helm's Deep, Minas Tirith. I'm telling you now, Tyler. There's a battle scene in the Return of the King where the Rohirrim turn up on their cavalry horses. Sorry, and there's 25,000.
That's the movie I have seen, so I am familiar with that one. I haven't seen
like
the first two.
the lines, and it's just amazing
They
pieces.
rated it one of the greatest cavalry charges on film ever.
Oh, it's amazing.
Rightfully so.
It gave
And
me
I've read the
goosebumps.
books, but I read those back in middle school, so I need to reread those
And also watching that battle
eventually.
scene while you was smoking a spliff gave it another dimension.
What? Not me.
But there you go. That was back in the old days when I was young, and now I'm middle-aged. So you know,
Middle Ages.
All
Gentlemen, do you
right,
guys
gents.
have
Well, I'm
anything
out of
else?
here too. So
yeah, good
I don't
chatting,
blame you.
guys. And
It was a good chat, guys. I'm glad we got to get back on this.
Yep.
We delved all over the place, but we got there in the end.
That's what an Unfiltered Conversations is for. It's just to get around, update you guys, let you know we are still here. We're alive. We're not, going crazy. We're just, it's real everyday life has been just, that's been crazy. But we'll see you soon. We have a good book club starting soon. We will set a tentative date
Hopefully.
there shortly. Hopefully. Folks, we will